Welcome back to Sexy Sips. My name is Myles.
And my name's Jordyn.
A few weeks ago, during Sex Health Week, we hosted Smut Slam, a live, anonymous storytelling event where folks shared their wildest, funniest, and most memorable sex-related stories. From steamy hookups to hilariously awkward dates, no topic was off limits, and the crowd definitely showed up with some gems. In case you missed it, this episode is a special recap of the top voted stories from the night. All anonymous, all real, and all read out for your entertainment. So plug in those headphones, get comfy, and enjoy some of the best submissions from the Smut Slam.
Awesome. And up first, we have Manek.
This story is called Freudian Slip. Okay, so it was my first time hooking up with my now boyfriend. We had been talking for about a month, and there had been crazy tension building. One night, we had a little bit to drink, watched a movie, one thing led to another, and suddenly we were in his bedroom. We started making out, and the tension was genuinely unlike anything I have ever felt before. We started having the most passionate, amazing sex. I'm talking eye contact, holding hands. It was actually perfect. At one point, I flip on top and start writing him, and it's so amazing. We are talking sexy to each other and looking longingly at each other. When I tell you it felt like we had been having sex for years, it actually felt perfect. I then feel him grab my ear to talk sexy to me while I'm writing him. He runs his hands through my hair and grabs my head and moves me closer and moans, "Ugh, I love the way your balls feel on my butt." I look at him in horror, and it takes a second for him to process that he, in fact, meant his balls on my butt. I do not have balls. Have never laughed harder in my life.
Awesome. And next up, we have T reading Hereditary.
Going back home for breaks is the only time I'll open up Grindr and look for hookups. This one time I was back at home last summer. I was scrolling on Grindr because I was bored. I got this message from a guy asking if I was at a group play, and I said yes, because, well, obviously. He asked me if I wanted to switch over to Snapchat to talk more, as most guys on Grindr will do. And so we switched to Snapchat and started talking back and forth, and sending some pictures, planning a hookup, as one does. He then asked me if I wanted to see pictures of the second guy, and I said yes, so we sent him. This other guy looked much older, but okay, I don't judge. Plus, he was massive. The guy then asks me if he can tell me a secret, and I go, yeah, why not? And this guy then goes on to tell me that this second guy is his dad. Not in the kinky daddy way, not in a role-playing way, not even in his, stepdad like you see sometimes in porn, but his straight-up biological father, y'all. I should have blocked him right there and then, but out of some kind of morbid curiosity, or maybe because I didn't fully believe him, I didn't. This guy then goes on to tell me about how he has this kink for watching his dad with his girlfriends, and how he has this thing for being degraded, and asks me to make fun of him for having such a small, As if that wasn't bad enough, he then started telling me about how he's always fantasized about being with his dad because he's seen how much his ex-girlfriend enjoyed it. Safe to say, I never took him up on his threesome offer. However, I didn't actually block him because I forgot. He reached out to me in November, out of the blue, and said he'd send me $50 if I could get on the phone and degrade him for an hour so he could get off. Easiest money I've ever made. Last I heard from this guy was last month, and he reached out to me again. I thought I was about to make another $50, but when I opened the chat, there was just this message that said, "Guess who just fucked me?" I've never blocked anyone so fast in my life. I didn't, and still don't, want to know any details whatsoever. That last message haunts me. Some things you can never unsee, and it looks like some messages you can never unread either.
Yeah, that was one of the crazier stories I remember from the event.
Yeah.
That is foul.
And I think this one was the first place story. Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's memorable.
Very memorable.
It certainly is. It's stuck in my brain, and I don't think it'll ever leave, unfortunately.
Yeah. Awesome. So next up, we have Jerrica reading He's a Liquor. Sorry.
During late February, I went out with a group of my friends to an emo night at a club in Cambridge. I made it my goal for that night to find someone to make out with and to just distract myself from the horrors that are normal schoolwork, the day-to-day. When I was there, I met a guy who I started dancing with. He was short, with a baby face, but he had decent muscles and he was a good dancer. So I thought, why not? Why not? Eventually, he asked if he could buy me a drink. So we go over to the bar and we were talking back and forth about music we like when he asks if we could go elsewhere. I bring him back to my dorm where he immediately starts kissing me. And he was using a lot of tongue. But I thought, so what? He's a bad kisser. Happens to the best of us. But when we got into my bed together, he starts kissing with even more tongue than before. He's basically licking the inside of my mouth when he asks, "Can you just lick my neck?" This is where I had to pause to reflect. Should I lick the neck of this boy whose name I learned about 5 minutes before? Or should I ask him to leave? I decided YOLO. How many times am I in a situation like this? So I start licking his neck, and he moans about 2 octaves up from his speaking voice while also giggling as if I'm tickling him. He's taking off his shirt and pulled down his pants at this point, and I'm still fully clothed, which is honestly, the dynamic that I'm so down for. But then he goes, "Do you want to suck my dick?" And I was like, sure. And I'm about 30 seconds into giving him head when he pulls my head off and goes, "Actually, can you just lick my neck while I jerk off?" So I'm licking this man's neck. He's jerking off like I've never seen before and half giggle, half moaning. He will occasionally pull me into a kiss, but that's closer to him sucking my tongue as far as he physically can. That's closer to him pulling my tongue as far as he physically can into his mouth and licking around the insides of my mouth as much as possible. I was only thinking, how interesting of a spot am I in right now? We stopped when my neighbors entered the hallway, and they were so loud that they ruined whatever mood may have been present amid all the licking. He hopped up, got dressed, and left. What he didn't realize is that he left a silver chain necklace on my desk, which is fully mine now. It was like a fun souvenir from an odd night. The next morning, I also realized he licked the inside of my mouth so thoroughly that it left me with a cut under my tongue that still isn't fully healed as of writing this a week and some change later. But at least I got some new jewelry out of it.
Awesome, yeah. So again, my name is Jordyn, and I will be reading Less Than Half Mast. Me and a girl I liked were wrestling in bed one time. The game we were playing, she is a beautiful, sexy actress in LA looking for a job, and I am a sleazy scumbag who convinces her to do a casting couch thing. It's her audition for a real acting gig, promise. I was talking a big game about how I would do this and then that, because she'd been a very, very bad girl. She was into me for uncertain reasons, doofus that I am, and I was into her for obvious reasons, sexy goddess that she is. It was a glorious time until the fated time came, and she told me she wanted me, and she wanted me bad. Ooh la la, bow chicka wow wow. However, there was trouble in paradise. Old boy downstairs was fast asleep. I just couldn't wake the dude up. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Wake up, asshole. We had a fine guest, but alas, nothing doing. You see, I had drunk an ungodly amount of alcohol that night. Furthermore, I was nervous. I usually omit this detail when I'm recounting this story to myself or really close friends. But for Smut Slam, I must be radically honest. This girl was awesome, cute, a complete bombshell, and goddamn it, I was nervous, which didn't help the cowboy down south. I don't remember much, but I think I fumbled around on top of my lady for a bit, and then I rolled off her and passed the fuck out. Now, years later, since the scar tissue of that traumatizing event has healed, I get a kick out of imagining what must have gone through that poor girl's mind that night. Because, for me, it's all a dark, hazy mess. One moment, I am her lipstick eraser. The next moment, I am a self-disgracer. First, I am my baddie's daddy. Then, I'm a drooling, snoring mess with not even half chub. She must have been so bewildered, the poor little lamb. Her. What the fuck was that? Me. Snore. Her. Did he come? Me. Snoring. Her. But did we fuck? No. But when? I don't even see his piece. I mean, I felt it, but that floppy disk, not a hard drive. Me. Still snoring. The next moment I wake up, unable to face her, red as a flipping tomato. I cannot make eye contact with my woman. I berate my ding-dong mentally for shaming me in front of Miss Fat Booty. And suddenly, I feel her moving next to me. Oh no, oh no. She's awake. Run, hide, make me disappear, Lord, please, I beg you. Her, smirking, good morning. Me, blushing. Hi, so, about last night. Her, giggling. Save it, Romeo. I laugh. She yawns and stretches her magnificent body. I look at her thighs, her pretty face, and see curiosity in her eyes. Not an ounce of blame in them for my shitty performance from the night before. Her eyes are twinkling with humor. She's teasing me. But what's weird is that it doesn't feel bad that she is. I like it. It's safe. It's not making me feel like shit. Her body language, her teasing voice, her smirk. Through everything she's telling me, it's okay. Without explicitly saying it's okay. And my fucking God, I appreciate that so much. My heart melts. I reach over and give her a big kiss. She smiles beautifully and snuggles closer. Something moves way down below. Oh, now you're awake. Better late than never. Giddy up, cowboy. We have a job to do. Awesome. So that was Less Than Half Mast. What do we think?
My favorite part is definitely all the puns that were thrown in.
Yeah.
Some dedication to writing that for sure.
So fair, yeah. Yeah, so next up we have Myles reading Peabody, Massachusetts.
After a heavy night of drinking, I was feeling especially horny and kinky. Me and my boyfriend at the time made our way back to his dorm room, where we started to get naughty. Whilst playing, quite kinky I might add, he stopped and said he has to go to the bathroom quickly. I asked him to piss in my mouth instead. I enjoyed this golden shower. He also came in my mouth later on. The next morning, I woke up and went to pee. I started to feel very dizzy, clammy, and nauseous. Next, I fell to the floor and hit my head on the toilet. I lay there on the Hill Hall bathroom floor, unconscious, unsure for how long. A random person who lived on my floor found me and called Thames. I was rushed to the emergency room and happened to miss my chemistry final. At the hospital, it was very humbling to answer the question, "Did you ingest anything?" I told them I drank a lot of my boyfriend's urine. I was on IV fluids for a couple of hours and diagnosed with a concussion as well. I never took my chemistry final.
I was not, I feel that on the spot. I shouldn't have opened my mouth. I thought you were going to keep reading, and then it just ended, and it's like, oh, I did not have a full thought to say.
Yeah, it's an abrupt ending.
Yeah.
And as someone who lived in Hill, I don't know how I feel.
Oh, well, sure. I feel like you can kind of get the vibes the second you walk into Hill. Yeah.
The yellow walls.
Yes, the stains on the carpet.
Yeah.
And on the couches. I think I know exactly where this happened.
Awesome. And then up next, we have Poppy reading Squirt Girl.
Let's rewind to the day of homecoming, the greatest, nastiest, most insane day of my life. I wake up at 10 a.m. with a single goal, getting obliterated. Pre-game, check. Darty with the team, check. Drink myself into oblivion, check. By noon, I'm almost on blackout level. By dinner, I still have no clue how I'm standing. We regroup in an hour in one of our vets' rooms for team bonding, aka just more alcohol, because of course we haven't had enough to drink today. Then I have the brilliant idea to go to Lac's house with some friends. There, I meet up with a girl who I've been hooking up with. After hours of more drinking and more hooking up, as we're leaving, another girl texts me if she can come over. Naturally, I hit the first girl with the "I'm so tired, I think I'm just gonna go to bed" line, and text my roommate that I need the room for a few hours. Completely plastered all day to the point of blackout? Check. Hooking up with one girl? Check. Lying to her so I can hook up with another? Check. Kicking out my roommate for a few hours? Also check. The second girl comes over. We do the deed, and she gets up to change while I'm lying there, basking in bed, checking the time, and drinking some water. I get off the bed, and I step on something wet. I look at her, she looks at me, and with zero shame, she goes, Oh yeah, I squirted. I take a moment to process this information, then, because she hasn't done enough, bends it down and gives me a bit more head, and then leaves. At this point, I'm questioning everything, but just decide to continue with my nightly motions. I put on pajamas, brush my teeth, come back, and step in it again. Then I clock just how nasty it is that I've been stepping in a pool of her squirt. Right on cue, I projectile vomit right there, on the floor, on the squirt. I don't know whether it was the alcohol, the squirt, or both, but I was standing in a cocktail of some girl's squirt and a fuck ton of puke. Was it fun? Hell no. Would I relive it? Only if she's bad enough. Greatest piece of lore? Absolutely.
I mean, that is a really good piece of lore.
Yeah, kind of nasty as hell, but good story.
I feel like I was fully vibing with everything going on till we got to the vomit part.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you were vibing with that?
Am I the problem? Stop.
Start with piss before upgrading.
Yeah, I just realized how many bodily fluids are in this.
Maybe it's just a tough stain.
Almost
I-
certainly not.
yeah.
I don't think so.
Awesome, and that wraps up our Smut Slam recap. Huge thanks to everybody who submitted a story and made the night unforgettable. Seriously, y'all had some amazing stories, and we love you for it. And also, a huge shout out to all the reps who are present. And just to go through names real quick, my name is Jordyn, and we also had...
Myles.
Poppy.
T.
Jerrica.
Awesome, thank you guys. So if you like this episode, don't forget to follow Sexy Sips on Spotify, Apple Music, and now on YouTube as well. Leave us a rating and share it with a friend who needs a laugh or maybe some inspiration. We'll be back next week with more juicy content, so stay tuned. Until then, keep it safe, keep it sexy, and we'll see you again soon.